had reconciled, and my friend did not want to risk losing a relationship that had been hard-won with his son. He was asking if I would be the one to alienate his son by explaining that there was no possible way that such an event could be considered. And I was, after all, expendable in this instance. And personally knowing this young man, I saw him very much as the rebellious son who had removed himself from all things Jewish and would yet again say in effect, "You can't fire me, I quit." And I was ready to do just that. And then I heard, "Al tikra hakatev ela hekatev, she'afilu hakamin shebach minayin mitzvot hakarimon." For even the emptiest among you is full of mitzvot, like a pomegranate has seeds. I still wrote my response, but now it took on the dimensions of a more thoughtful investigation. In truth, my view of this young man had been transformed by Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Zichrono Levracha. And in fact, when you think about it, why would a rebellious son even ask for such an event? And why wouldn't I see that? So I am truly grateful. The tshuva that I wrote is my response to the question specifically, can a Jewish male who is a member of the Beth Jacob Synagogue of Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, marry a non-Jewish female under a chuppah in our sanctuary? Is that specific enough for you? It's necessary, it is absolutely necessary that it should be specific. Its purpose is to determine if the halacha can respond substantively to the needs of Jews in the 21st century, and not to confine us within the iron walls of blind obedience and to an unchanging and unresponsive directive. We no longer live under the yoke of hegemony, as Reb Zalman has pointed out so aptly. Society today is autonomous. To present unquestioned and unquestionable determinations is only to alienate a generation whose response could easily be, and demonstrably is, "You can't fire me, I quit." It is designed to challenge the accepted norms based on current realities, but grounded in traditional Jewish principles and sources. So, my synagogue, seeing as the question is very specific to my synagogue, is a small trans-denominational group. They started as an Orthodox group 110 years ago, and over the years there's been this evolution, where about 40% of the families are in mixed marriages, and many others have spouses who converted and then married. This question is germane. It goes further, as it also speaks to the Gerei Toshav in our community and their status. For 28 years, certainly for the last 16 when I've been paying closer attention, I watch how it's the Gerei Toshav in our community who are keeping things going for us, who are keeping the Jews in shul, who are going into the kitchen. This issue is addressed in the tshuva. And one way of understanding Ger Toshav versus Ger Tzedek, the way I've expressed it in here, in this tshuva, might be to substitute the terms permanent resident and citizen. It certainly begs a valid argument. Included is an understanding of how the Ger Toshav might be able to be an active participant in Jewish community life, and in this, I draw directly from Reb Zalman's thoughts on the subject. I took the following approach to the actual tshuva itself, which is posted, so you can look at it anytime you wish. Exploring how it might or might not be possible for such a wedding to take place and be kiddushin. So, the 5 points that I address. 1, is halacha as a specific ruling based on the interpretation of the Torah changeable when circumstances change. And so I explore examples of where that has happened. Hosbol may be an example of that. Can a Jew have conjugal relations with a non-Jew provided the latter denounces idolatry, accepting the Noahidic laws? Can a Jew enter into a valid contract with a Gentile? Can the ketubah become a contract between two parties? Because from my perspective, the ketubah, which we call all the time a wedding contract, is not a contract. Not in that form. It's a shtar, it's a pledge, a bond. It doesn't require the signature of the wife, of the woman. I think that needs to be connected and acknowledged. Does this determine if it is indeed possible to be married under a chuppah and in a sanctuary? And I have to say, indeed, if we do it right, we do follow the process and the protocols that we should follow, it actually needs to be under a chuppah in the sanctuary, because a contract between the two parties, which includes terms for a ger toshav, to raise the children in a Jewish way in their home, etc., that needs to be stamped. Marriage is not just a contract, it's more of a covenantal relationship, and that needs to be acknowledged. My research in all these areas indicated, therefore, that such was possible, to my own surprise. You may disagree or have other suggestions and ideals, and we will be happy to discuss them in breakout sessions. And just as a sort of a tantalizer to that, one of the things that started to become evident, and I referred to that in some handouts that I'll give at the breakout. In fact, is the wedding really about two individuals, or is it about the joining of clans? Because if that's the case, and that's not relevant today, that also adds another wrinkle into the process. Thank you.
Yeah.